I'm sick of the lies. The lies. The lies the mainstream sports media tells you Bron fanboys to make you believe LeBron James is the GOAT. He not the GOAT, dog. He not the GOAT. All right? That's the facts. And you already know the deal, the real NBA fans. Oh, yeah, we all know that LeBron James is not the GOAT. But here come the Bron fanboys. Yep, here they come. They're here again, dog. And what do they got to say now? You know, dog, we're on part 2 now, dog. Bron fanboys, they be thinking still to this day, the game is the best it's ever been. The players are the best they've ever been. The game has evolved so much. They're so much more skilled. So much more skilled. As a matter of fact, so skilled that the greatest player of their generation, quote unquote, in LeBron James, you know, who they even say is the greatest out of all the generations. Oh, my goodness. They say he's not only the greatest of their generation, which that's debatable, but then the greatest of all the generations. He's just the greatest of all time, LeBron James. And that's the only reason why he's had such trouble winning championships, because when it comes to the finals, we already know the record, dog. 4-6, dog. 4-6. 6 freaking losses in the finals, dog. 6 of them. All right? Ain't nobody else. We can bring up all the top 10 players, dog. We can bring up all your typical top 10. We can bring up Michael Jordan. We know he ain't never lost. All right? We can bring up Larry Bird. Only two losses. All right? Shaq, just 2. Kobe, just 2. Kareem, 4. Wilt, 4. Bill Russell, just 1. You see what I'm saying? We can bring up all these different players, dog. Tim Duncan, just 1. All right? Who else we got? Magic, 4. We can bring up all these different players, dog. All right? Ain't none of them got no 6 freaking losses, dog. And they say, oh, well, you see, LeBron, he's in the new, more skilled, highly evolved era. Of course, he's going to lose more than those guys because they're playing against plumbers and firemen, and none of those guys were good. None of those guys were good like the guys of today. All right? That's the only reason he's losing like that. But look at his statistical output. Look at this guy's skills. I mean, he's in the more skilled era, but we already know LeBron James is not that skilled, dog. So this is part 2, dog. Bron fanboy logic. The game has evolved. Now, we already saw what happened in the last video, dog. I looked into hand checking, dog. I looked into Steve Nash, all right? The very year they removed hand checking, all of a sudden he's an MVP, dog. But we looked at his seasons before then, dog. And he wasn't anywhere near no MVP status, dog. All right? We know that. All right? We looked at how the game was actually devolving. All right? We looked after the 03-04 season. Kevin Garnett, leader in points, had 1,987 points. That was the first time since 1956-57 season, dog, that the leader in points had less than 2,000 points, dog. All right? The game was devolving, dog. We look at the Detroit Pistons, who won. All right? They won the championship with a 54-28 record, dog. And we saw that they had, well, I didn't show you it, but I already figured that out. And I showed you what I figured out. Where the Detroit Pistons, they lost 3 games in a row 6 times. And ended up winning the championship. The only team in NBA history to lose 3 games in a row 6 times and actually win a championship. No other team has done that. And the only other teams that have lost 3 games in a row 5 times and won a championship, all in the 50s, 60s, and 70s, dog. 50s, 60s, 70s. None in the 80s. None in the 90s. You see what I'm saying? But we want to talk about the game had evolved when it was actually devolving, dog. All right? We already proved that. But I'm going to take it a step further, dog. Everybody want to talk about all these players. All these players are so much more skilled. Everyone's so much more skilled than before. And I just wanted to keep it real simple, dog. I just wanted to compile a list, dog. And to make it fair, we're not going to go throughout the whole entirety of NBA history. We're just going to go off of the past 25 years and then the 25 years before that. The past 50 years of NBA basketball. That's what we're going to go over because we're going to make it fair. Because if you haven't noticed, the year is 2025. 25 years from 2000 to 2025. That's 25 years, isn't it? From the year 2000 to 2025 is 25 years. And from the year 2000 to 1975 is also 25 years. So we're just going to go off of 25 years from the previous era and 25 years from the 2000s up to now. That's what we're going to do, dog. We're going to look at all the all-stars, dog. All the NBA all-stars from 1975 to 2000. And we're going to look at all the NBA all-stars from 2000 to 2025. And we're only going to look at players who were all-stars during those times, dog. So there's some players who played into the 2000s, but they weren't all-stars in the 2000s. And there are some players who were all-stars in both the 90s and the 2000s. So we're going to include them on both lists, dog. We're going to include them on both lists. Now, what am I looking for? We're keeping this real simple, dog. Real simple. Y'all want to talk about skill. These Bron fanboys. Let's keep it real simple, dog. How many all-stars, all right, could give you 20 plus, 20 points, just score 20 or more, 20 plus, all right, on 50% from the field? That should be doable, right? That should be pretty simple, dog. You give me 50% from the field, hit half your shots. Just hit half of them, dog. Hit half of your shots and score at least 20 points. All right? At least 20 and hit half your shots. Can you do that? How many all-stars are capable of doing that? From 1975 to 2000, and then we're going to look at the all-stars from 2000 to 2025. And we're just going to look at the list, dog. That's all we're going to do, dog. We're just going to look at the list of all the players who are able to do it. First, let's start with 2000 to 2025, dog. Let's just start with that, since that's the most current form of basketball, era of basketball these Bron fanboys are familiar with. They're going to notice and recognize a lot of these names, dog. You know, because that's more with their era, you know. So we're going to bring up your era first, dog. 2000 to 2025. Bring it up. And as you can see, dog, we have 45 different players, dog. 45 different players who could give you 20 plus on 50% from the field. Now, if you see a name that has just the name by itself, that means they did it just one time. And if you see a name and it has got a parentheses with a number in it, that's the number of seasons they were able to do it. All right? Now, I'm not saying the number of seasons they've been able to do it were in line with the very season they were an all-star. I'm just saying how many all-stars were an all-star and then managed to do this. All right? That's what I'm looking at. So now we see at the top with the most seasons of 20 plus, 50% from the field, is LeBron James. Oh, LeBron James. Wow, that's great. That's awesome. That's awesome. We got Kevin Durant. We got Anthony Davis. We got Giannis Antetokounmpo, Karl Anthony Towns, Shaquille O'Neal, Nikola Jokic, Amari Stoudemire, Zion Williamson. And these are all players, all right, who've done it at least 5 times, all right? Then under them, SGA, Kawhi Leonard, Tim Duncan, you know, and Tim Duncan, he doesn't have just 4 seasons, you know, of it, but he has 4 in the 2000s and beyond, all right? LaMarcus Aldridge, Blake Griffin, Dwight Howard, Joel Embiid, Yao Ming, Kevin Garnett, DeMar DeRozan, Elton Brand, Dwayne Wade, Brooke Lopez, Chris Bosh, Carlos Boozer, Tony Parker, Dirk Nowitzki, Pau Gasol, Zach LaVine, David Lee, Pascal Siakam, Kristaps Porzingis, Alperen Sengun, Chris Paul, Jimmy Butler, Sean Marion, Goran Dragic, De'Aaron Fox, Nikola Vucevic, Zach Randolph, Domantas Sabonis, Kyrie Irving, Bam Adebayo, Julius Randle, Bradley Beal, and Stephen Curry. And yes, Stephen Curry does not have a parentheses with a number next to his name. So yes, Stephen Curry has only done it one time. And ironically, the one time he did it was the 2015-16 season where he became the unanimous MVP, the first ever unanimous MVP in NBA history, with a 73-9 record, went to the finals and blew a 3-1 lead. The only team in NBA history to ever blow a 3-1 lead in the finals, dog. And it's so ironic that the one team to do it was the one team that had the most regular season wins in NBA history. How does that happen, dog? All right? But that is the only time, dog, the only time that Steph has scored 20 plus on 50% from the field. All the other seasons, no, nada. Sorry, not happening. All right? So it's crazy, dog. All right? But we look at the guy at the bottom. You know, I purposely did it like that because the guy at the bottom has 4 rings and the guy at the top has 4 rings. But the guy at the bottom only has 2 finals losses. The guy at the top has 6. Okay? So that just goes to show you, dog, it's not all about how efficient you are and how much you can score 20 plus on 50% efficiency. That's not what it's all about, dog, because that really isn't too much tied into winning championships. Now, it is tied into helping your team. You know, you're going to be a benefit to your team, usually, you know, but there are cases where that is not a thing, why that does not work, all right? But that's when you're stat padding. That's when you're purposely trying to get the ball to you as much as possible so you can score. You see what I'm saying? And now you're manipulating this and getting 20 plus on 50% because the offense is built to give you 20 plus on 50%. And that is primarily the reason why we see LeBron James up at the top with 14 seasons of doing so. All right? Now, we're going to go from, we looked at 2000 to 2025. We see there are 45 different players, dog. 45 different players who could give you 20 plus on 50% from the field, dog. All right? And we got 9 different players, dog. 9, all right, who could give you at least 5 seasons of doing this. All right? At least 5 seasons from the era of the years 2000 to 2025. Now, we're about to switch the list, dog. We're about to go from the 1975 to 2000. All right? We're going to look at the players on that list. We're going to see how many players, all right, were able to give you 20 plus on 50% shooting from the field. You know, how many all-star level players, all players who made the all-star team, and within that time frame, all right? There's some players who played, like Kareem, right? He played in 1969, the 1969-1970 season, all right? He got all-star then. He got all-star in 71 and a championship. We're not counting that because that isn't 1975, all right? We're starting from the 1975-76 season, all right, and beyond. That's what we're doing. So any of the players who got them before then, we're not looking at that. We're trying to make it fair. 25 years for you, 25 years for us, dog. All right? Let's switch the list and see what we got. Whoa. Well. Dog. What do we got here, dog? You see what I'm saying? We look at the players from 1975 to 2000, and the list has exponentially increased, hasn't it? I mean, look at this. How many players is this, dog? That's 71 players, not 45. Not 45. We've had the same amount of time, dog. Hold up. It's the same time frame, dog. So you can't be crying and complaining. It's the same freaking time frame, dog. 25 years, all right? 25 years for 2000 to 2025 produced 45 players who were able to score 20 plus on 50% from the field, all right? In 1975 to 2000, it produced 71 different players who could score 20 plus on 50% from the field, dog. All right? You can't cry about it. You can't complain, dog. I made it fair. I gave you 25. I gave us 25, dog. All right? And so here's the problem, dog. All right? Here's the problem with these Bron fanboys. They don't know the history of the game. They don't understand how great these players were before. They can't even fathom. I'm telling you, they can't even fathom that players were more skilled back then, dog. They can't even think of it, all right? They just think their era is more skilled, you know? And because the media keeps telling them that over and over and over. Oh, yeah, they're more skilled, more skilled, more skilled. Oh, yeah, they're more skilled, more skilled, more skilled. You got all these talking heads on all these sports broadcasts. They're all saying, oh, yeah, they're more skilled, more skilled. All they're trying to do literally is cover themselves and say, oh, yeah, it's the best it's ever been. Because they know it's not, all right? But if they were to say, oh, yeah, our product sucks now, it's not as good as what it was before, the players aren't as skilled as they were before, you know? We can't even, you know, a lot of these guys, they can't even score 20 plus and hit half their shots, all right? They can't even do that, all right? There's way more players who could do it back then than now. You see what I'm saying? If they said that, why would you even watch? They're trying to get you to keep watching so they can keep making their money, dog. All right? That's all this is, dog. It's about dollars, dog. It ain't about truth. All right? They're not out here telling the truth. So we got channels like mine out here telling the truth, dog. You see what I'm saying? But the Bron fanboys, they don't want to hear it. They're over here like, whoa, no. Because Nick Wright said, I don't care what Nick Wright said. He's trash, dog. All he does is lie. All right? LeBron said on the Mind the Game, I don't care what LeBron said. He's trash. All he does is lie. You see what I'm saying? I'm looking for truth, dog. I'm looking for reality, dog. And this is the reality when I do my research, dog. All right? We got Hakeem up there at the top. All right? We got Karl Malone right beneath him. Kareem, Adrian Dantley with 11 seasons. Come on, dog. 11? Adrian Dantley. We got Charles Barkley with 9. Patrick Ewing with 9. David Robinson. Shaquille O'Neal, for the seasons he played from the 90s era, he's got 8 of them. Kiki Vandeweghe. You Bron fanboys probably don't even know who he is, dog. All right? But if he was playing in y'all's league today, he would destroy every single one of your favorite players, dog. Kiki Vandeweghe, offensively, he would destroy every single one. This dude got 7 seasons of 20 plus 50% from the field. Michael Jordan, 6 seasons of it. Chris Mullin, 6 seasons. Dr. J, 6 seasons. Alonzo Mourning, 6 seasons. Wasn't he like a defensive player of the year? Isn't he a defensive guy? He's got 6 seasons of it. Come on, dog. Bernard King, Dan Issel, Marcus Johnson, George Gervin, Alex English, Larry Bird, Moses Malone, Kevin McHale, Walter Davis, Bob Lanier, Paul Westphal, Otis Birdsong, David Thompson, James Worthy, Jamal Wilkes, Reggie Miller, Magic Johnson, Dale Ellis, Bob McAdoo, Mark Aguirre, Brad Doherty, Penny Hardaway, Ralph Sampson, Kevin Johnson, Larry Nance, Terry Cummings, Jim Paxson, Bill Cartwright, Cedric Ceballos, Clyde Drexler, Chris Webber, Artis Gilmore, Rolando Blackman, Mike Mitchell, Calvin Nat, Gary Payton, Sidney Moncrief, Tom Chambers, Vin Baker, Rudy Tomjanovich, Jeff Hornacek, Ricky Pierce, Reggie Lewis, Xavier McDaniel, Otis Thorpe, Jeff Rulin, Larry Johnson, Joe Barry Carroll, Tom Gugliotta, Elvin Hayes, Tim Duncan, Doug Collins, Bob Dandridge, John Drew, Larry Keenan, Jeff Malone, Danny Manning, Andrew Toney, and at the very bottom, which I also arranged purposely, we've got Scottie Pippen with one lone season, dog, where he scored 20 plus on 50% shooting from the field, dog. He only has one season, dog. One season of doing this. But you Bron fanboys, you Bron fanboys, you just keep on praising Pippen and just keep saying, Pippen. Oh, he's such a complete player. He's so all around, just the most complete. The only one more complete than him is LeBron. You see what I'm saying? And Scottie Pippen. Michael Jordan, he had Scottie. It just was not fair. You know, he never won a single championship. He never even made it out of the first round without that complete, all-around, special, spectacular talent. Scottie, Pippen. Oh, Pippen. Oh, Pippen. He only has one freaking season, dog. One, where he scored 20 plus on 50% from the field. Just one, dog. I'm telling you, dog. And the one time he did it was with Michael Jordan, dog. All right? With Michael, dog. It wasn't, and then when Michael retired and then the 93-94 season. And no, it was not that season. I believe it was the 90-91 or the 91-92 season. One of those. All right? 20 plus on 50% from the field. And he only did it one time, dog. That's it. One freaking time, dog. Okay? But you swear, you Bron fanboys swear that if he was playing in this era, he would be so great. All his skills, all his ability would so well translate into this era, dog, when he only has one season of scoring 20 plus on 50% from the field, dog. So if you're looking at him and going, so impressive. His skills would translate. But none of these other guys above him would translate. You think they're just plumbers? None of these guys would translate. How does that even make sense, dog? How does that even make sense? Y'all keep praising Pippen like he really that dude, dog. He not. All right? But y'all see the skills and you say, he's so skilled. But I'm telling you, dog, back in the day, Pippen was just a regular dude, dog. He's just a regular dude, okay? Yeah, he might have had some all-stars. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, his defense was above average. But offensively, he was just a regular dude, dog. He wasn't doing too much, all right? He wasn't too special. He only had one season, all right? Look at all these other players, dog, that these Bron fanboys, they try to say that Scottie Pippen was better than in his 93-94 season, dog. Look at all these players. Look, we got Alonzo Mourning over here, dog. We got Chris Mullin over here. We got Shaquille O'Neal. We got David Robinson, Patrick Ewing, Charles Barkley, Adrian Dantley. You know what I'm saying? We got Karl Malone. We got Hakeem Olajuwon, dog. All right? All these players who could consistently do this season after season after season, dog. All right? But you're all trying to put Pippen up above these guys. Come on, dog. Not going to happen, dog. All right? Y'all don't know ball to say, Pippen. Y'all don't know ball. All right? Oh, man. We've seen better than Pippen, dog. And y'all over here talking about, Pippen. It's just because of Pippen that Michael. No, dog. Michael has way more 20 plus 50% seasons than Pippen. He got 6 of them, dog. He got 6 of them. Okay? Pippen has 1. All right? And the only one he got is because he was playing with Michael, taking all the attention away so he could get his points. All right? Which is also a big reason why LeBron gets a lot of his points. And you might think I'm capping, but look, LeBron, we see, let's go back to the other list. Let's go back to the 2025 list. All right? We look at LeBron, he's at the top, right? 14 seasons. 14 seasons of 20 plus 50% from the field. Oh, wow. That's such a high number, right? But if we look at LeBron James, dog, and we look at the time he was first able to achieve his 20 plus 50% field goal season, dog, we can look at that. And we can count which season it was. He didn't do that until his 7th season in the league, dog. 7th. All right? You can compare it to anybody else on this list, dog. I don't think any of them, dog, took 7 freaking seasons to shoot 50% from the field. All right? I don't think any of these guys took 7 freaking seasons to shoot 50%, dog. It took you 7 seasons to hit half your shots, LeBron. All right? 7 seasons? How? Why is it taking that long? Oh, because you start getting help, didn't you? All right? You start getting these guys around you, all right, that could ease the scoring on you. So that way, or they could remove attention from you so you could get easier baskets and easier runs and easier lanes and all that stuff, dog. We already know the deal, dog. We already know what's going on, dog. We already know all these talented offensive talents he's played with, dog. We already know that, all right? We see it took him 7 years, dog. It wasn't until his 7th year that he even shot 50% from the field, dog, all right? And who did he have on his team at that point, dog? Didn't he have Anton Jamison, who just the year prior was 6th in total points, all right? He was top 10 in total points scored. And then he had Shaquille O'Neal. Come on, dog. Shaquille O'Neal, isn't he on this list, dog? Isn't he? Go back to the list. Isn't he on there, dog? And isn't he on the one in the 90s as well? Come on, dog. Shaquille got 14 seasons. If you combine his 90s and his 2000s, dog, he got 14 seasons, the exact same as LeBron. So you're getting a guy like that, and you're getting Anton Jamison on your team, dog. You see what I'm saying? And now you can finally shoot 50% from the field. Come on, dog. It's trash. All right? Trash. Then you run to Miami, and you got Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh. Now you can shoot 50% from the field, can't you? Because you got these elite players offensively on your team taking the attention off of you, dog. All right? And now he's been able to stat pad, manipulate, and just keep on playing his way all the way, getting all these different seasons. All right? But then when you look at how many consecutive seasons he's been able to do it, it's no more than 5, dog. No more than 5 consecutive seasons of being able to do this, dog. All right? And that's like there's other guys who can do it more than 5 seasons in a row, dog. But not LeBron, dog. No more than 5, dog. All right? But he's at the top of this list if we go back to this 2025, dog. Let's go back to the 1975-2000, dog, because we're not done. We're not done, dog. You know what I'm saying? We look at all these different players, dog. All these different players. How many players from the 1975 to 2000, how many different all-stars were able to have at least 5 seasons of scoring 20-plus on 50% from the field? At least 5 seasons, dog. And we got 22 different players, dog. 22. All right? 22. How many were from the 2000 to 2025? You had how many? 9? Just 9. But then when you look at 1975 to 2000, it's 22. More than double, dog. More than double, dog. All right? I don't want to hear about this, dog. I don't want to hear about this, oh, they're more skilled now. I don't want to hear about that. They can't even hit half their shots. A lot of these all-stars can't even hit half their shots, dog. We can go further, dog. Like, I don't have it on the screen, but when you're doing your research, you got to cover everything, right? And I looked at all the different all-stars, dog. All the different all-stars who have 0 20-plus 50% seasons, dog. 0 of them, dog. All right? And there's more during the 2000 to 2025 era than there is in the 1975 to 2000 era, dog. All right? And that's the facts, dog. 1975 to 2000, you got 108. 108 players who were all-stars, but they had 0 seasons of 20-plus and 50% from the field within that era. But then we look at 2000 to 2025, and the number is 125, dog. 125 players that have 0, 20 plus 50% seasons, dog. All right? And some of these guys, they're praising today. We got Brandon Ingram on this list, dog. Kobe Bryant is on the list, dog. I'm sorry, dog. Kobe Bryant is on the list, dog. All right? Let's see some more notable names. You know, Deontay Murray, he's on there. Jameer Nelson, he's on there. All right? Michael Redd is on the list, dog. D'Angelo Russell on the list. Wally Zerbiak, Fred VanVleet, Jeff Teague, of course. Andrew Wiggins, Victor Wembanyama still does not have a season, 20 plus 50% season. He might get it this year, but, you know, still up to this point, does not have it. All right? Jalen Williams, no. Mo Williams, no. Ron Artest, no. No Glenn Rice, but let's look at more current players. Jason Tatum, no. Okay? Carmelo, no. Okay? Let's see. Looking for more current players, Donovan Mitchell, no. Okay? James Harden, no. Russell Westbrook, no. Okay? Paul George, no. Damian Lillard, no. Okay? But these are all guys you're talking, oh, they're so skilled, oh, they're so much better, oh, these guys, oh, there you go, oh. But these guys have 0 seasons. They can't even score 20 plus on 50% from the field, okay? But they're all-stars, okay? Kyle Lowry, no, okay? Luka Doncic, no. I'm telling you, dog, Luka, no. Klay Thompson, no. Al Horford, no. John Wall, no. You see what I'm saying? Devin Booker, no. Jaylen Brown, no. Okay? Draymond Green, no. Come on, dog. Rajon Rondo, no. All right? Kemba Walker, no. You see what I'm saying? Trae Young, no. Gilbert Arenas, no. We're looking at different players, notable names. Anthony Edwards, no. You see what I'm saying? Rudy Gobert, no. Rudy Gobert, he's a freaking center. He ain't, but he can't score 20 plus. All right? And if he is, it's not on 50%, dog. I looked through all of them. Chris Middleton, no. Derrick Rose, no. Brandon Roy, no. Ben Simmons, no. Peja Stojakovic, no. Antoine Walker, no. Darren Williams, no. Jalen Brunson, no. All right? Come on, man. There's a lot of different all-stars. So many. I'm telling you, there's 125 names, dog. I'm just going through notable names. Drew Holiday, no. Tyrese Halliburton, no. Darius Garland, no. You see what I'm saying? This is the reality, dog. Jaren Jackson Jr., no. All right? Let's see. Ja Morant, no. All right? Come on, dog. This is crazy, dog. LaMelo Ball, no. Paolo Banchero, no. Scotty Barnes, no. You see what I'm saying? This is the reality, dog. Mike Conley, no. Cade Cunningham, no. All right? Oh, man. It's crazy, dog. All right? It's crazy. Tyler Hero, no. None of these. There's a lot of notable guys that these Bron fanboys are looking up to today and say, oh, they're a real star. Oh, Ant-Man. Oh, he's so great. Oh, Jalen Brunson. Oh, but none of these guys can give you 20 plus on 50% from the field, dog. They can't even do it, dog. Haven't done it yet. All right? And it's taking them a long time to even have their first season of doing it. All right? Oh, man. Now let's see if we can find some notable guys from the 1975 to 2000 era who have 0 seasons of 20 plus and 50% from the field. All right. And I mean, I do not see a lot of notable guys. All right. There's some names you might notice. Let's see. I mean, none of these Bron fanboys are going to even know who these guys are. You know, Christian Laettner, you're not going to know who that is. Charles Oakley, you'll barely know who he is. Doc Rivers, you only know him as a coach. Clifford Robinson, don't know him. Curtis Rowe, Campy Russell, Lonnie Shelton, Steve Smith, Smitty, but y'all probably don't know who he is. Rick Smits, John Starks, Nick Van Exel. You know, y'all don't know him. Y'all don't know him. Kevin Willis, nope. You know what I'm saying? Because y'all don't do your research. You don't even know who these players are, dog. You know, and nobody even talks about him like that. Bill Laimbeer, y'all probably know who he is because of the Pistons, because he's just a goon. Well, yeah, he has no seasons of 20 plus 50% from the field. All right. Let's see. Earl of Pearl Monroe never did it. Mark Price never did it. But, you know, Mark Price, he never had 20 plus. He had 50% from the field. You know what I'm saying? He just never had 20 plus and 50% from the field in the same season. You know what I'm saying? Like, same as John Stockton. You know, John Stockton, he never was 20 plus and 50% from the field because he just wasn't a 20 plus kind of guy. All right. Let's see. Alvin Robertson, Michael Ray Richardson, Dan Marley, George McGinnis, Detlef Schrempf, Norm Van Leer, Dan Rallenfield, Buck Williams, Terrell Brandon, Sean Elliott, Eddie Johnson, Fat Lever, let's see, Norm Nixon, Terry Porter, Truck Robinson, Dennis Rodman, you know, Phil Smith, Randy Smith, Reggie Theus, Kelly Tripica, Bill Walton, Scott Wedman, Gus Williams, Brian Winters, Alvin Adams, Michael, and like none of these guys y'all even know, all right? Because these guys didn't get praised back then, dog. Danny Ainge, he's a freaking role player. You know, Kenny Anderson, he's a freaking role player. B.J. Armstrong, role player. Dana Barros, role player. Mookie Blaylock, role player. You know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of these guys are just freaking role players, dog. You see what I'm saying? People, this was your place, dog. This is who you were. If you weren't putting up those types of seasons, all right, people weren't talking about you like they're talking about these guys today. All right, they're over here raving about Jalen Brunson, raving about Anthony Edwards. These guys ain't never done it. All right, ain't nobody raving about Horace Grant. Ain't nobody raving about AC Green. All right, I mean, you might rave about him being the Iron Man. You ain't gonna rave about his play, how great a player he was offensively. You see what I'm saying? Ain't nobody raving about Juwan Howard. Ain't nobody raving about Mark Jackson. All right? And then you got some guys who transferred. They started in the 90s, and in the 90s, they could not get these kinds of seasons. And they didn't have it their entire careers. Ray Allen, Jason Kidd, Kobe Bryant, Vince Carter, Dikembe Mutombo, Grant Hill, dog. Even Grant Hill, dog. Latrell Sprewell, Rasheed Wallace, Eddie Jones, you know what I'm saying? Antoine Walker, Michael Finley, Allen Houston, Glenn Robinson, Jerry Stackhouse, you see what I'm saying? Kevin Garnett, he has 0 of them in the 90s, 0 in the 90s, you see what I'm saying? So Isaiah Thomas, there you go, Isaiah Thomas, he's probably the only real notable guy, you know, who has 0 seasons of 20 plus and 50% from the field, you know. Then you got Robert Parrish, Dominique Wilkins. There's another one. All right. Tiny Archibald, Joe Dumars, Sean Kemp, Mitch Richmond, Tim Hardaway. You see what I'm saying? You know, so these are pretty much like notable guys from the 90s that didn't have seasons of 20 plus or 50% from the field. But most of these guys, you don't even know who they are, and they're just freaking role players, dog. All right? You got to be really good to get validation, to get, notoriety. All right? Back in the day, dog. Back in the 90s, 80s, and 90s, you really had to have some game, dog. You couldn't have no 0 seasons of 20 plus 50% from the field, dog. And everybody raving about you year in and year out. That ain't happening, dog. It's just not going to happen. All right? But that's what's happening in this era, the cupcake era. You see what I'm saying? I just looked at the list, dog. All right? More players. We got way more players from the 1975 to 2000 giving you 20 plus on 50% from the field. And, as an all-star, dog. We got a lot of players who are all-stars and who are looked at like they're going to be the face of the league or something, the next best thing, and they ain't even done it yet, dog. All right? That's the reality, dog. Okay? And we can look back at the 2000-2025 list, and we can see LeBron James at the top, dog. He has the most. And then you wonder why everybody still has him as face of the league. Everyone's always talking about him. Always talking about him. And look, who's right under him at number 2? Kevin Durant. Everyone be talking about Kevin Durant, too. Oh, Kevin Durant. Oh, well, Kevin Durant. And then we look at, under that is Anthony Davis. Didn't LeBron play with him? They only got 1 ring together when they teamed up? That's underachieving. That's sad. How are you going to have another player like that in has double-digit seasons of doing what you did, LeBron? The only 3 players to have double digits, and you had one of them on your team. And you played with them for, 6 years? You only got 1. Come on, dog. That's trash. Absolute trash. Like, I don't understand why everyone thinks LeBron is so good when he gets these great players on his team and he can't even win. And y'all over here talking about, it's because it's more skilled. But he has probably the 3rd most skilled, if we're talking about 20 plus 50% seasons, throughout this entire era on his team. Can't even get the job done except once in a freaking bubble, dog. That's trash. All right? Oh, my goodness, dog. Nobody talking about, and then Giannis, they be talking about Giannis. Nobody really talking about Cat. Karl Anthony Towns, Shaquille's gone. Nikola, they talk about him. Amari's gone. Zion, they kind of talk about him, but they really just talk about his weight. SGA under him, well, they're talking about SGA because SGA winning. You know what I'm saying? But he does have 4 seasons of it. They talk about Kawhi. Tim Duncan's gone. LaMarcus gone. Blake Griffin gone. Howard's gone. They kind of talk about Joel, but he's always injured. Ming's gone. Garnett's gone. They don't really talk about DeMar, because he ain't never won nothing. Ain't even been to a finals. Elton Brand, gone. Wade, gone. I don't know if Lopez is still here or not. Chris Bosh is gone. Boozer is gone. Parker's gone. Dirk's gone. Gasol's gone. Zach's still here, but they don't really talk about him because he don't win. All right? When you look at all these different players, the only ones they really talk about nowadays is LeBron James, Kevin Durant, Giannis a little bit. And then they got, what's his name? Steph Curry. You know what I'm saying? Because Steph Curry has been winning, all right? He's been putting his skills to use, dog. And yeah, he doesn't have but one 20 plus 50% season, dog. But he's not there to hit half his shots, dog. And that's really not why he's there, dog. He's not there to hit half his shots, dog. And he's really not even going to take all that many shots, dog. You see what I'm saying? He's there to knock down these threes, dog. All right? But we understand why, because he's actually skilled at doing it. He's a really skilled three-point shooter, dog. You see what I'm saying? They got all these other players. They out here talking about, they're so much more skilled. They hit threes. Everyone shoots threes. Are they shooting at Steph's percentage? All right? Are they shooting at Steph's percentage? No, they are not. So why are they shooting all these threes, dog? Come on, dog. Don't make no sense. All these players trying to be Steph because it worked for Steph. But it ain't working for you because you don't shoot like Steph, dog. Oh, man. And then he has all these other skills, all these other abilities moving without the ball that you don't have. These guys, they're just stand in the corner and wait for someone to pass it to them, dog. They ain't moving around. They ain't running around all these screens and stuff. You see what I'm saying? They aren't a threat to score inside the three-point line. All right? They're not a threat mid-range. They're not a threat with the ball, creating their own shot. And they're not a threat getting to the rim. All right? Shooting floaters or anything like that. Steph is on all of those, dog. You see what I'm saying? He's just an overall an offensive threat, whether from three or not, dog. All right? These guys aren't like that. But they're all talking about, but they're all shooting threes now. They're trying to copy with somebody else who's better than doing it or better at them than doing it. You know what I'm saying? He's better doing it than they are. All right? And they're trying to copy him, but they're not doing it as well. And not anywhere near as well. All right? And where did Steph learn all this stuff, dog? Where did he learn all this running around off these screens and stuff, moving without the ball and hitting these threes? Where did he learn all this stuff from? Oh, yeah, Reggie Miller, dog. And we go back. Reggie Miller, he was on the 90s list, dog. He was on the 75 to 2000 list, dog. He was an all-star in the 90s. Reggie Miller, how many times? Reggie Miller has 3 seasons, dog, of 20-plus and 50% from the field. That's 2 more than Stephen Curry, dog. All right? That's where Steph Curry got his stuff from, dog. All right? He'll tell you that.
Can you be as lethal with the ball in your hand as you can without the ball, or vice versa? And he wasn't the most athletic guy. Like, I could resonate with that. You know, played against my dad, so every time he played against him, you know how you watch the game and you can only watch one guy and your eyes, I can't watch anything. If Reggie was on the court, I could not watch anything else. I just watched everything he did, his angles he took, the deception, the wild push-offs he'd have, and he'd run the other way. Like, all that stuff.
All right? That's where he learned a lot of his moving without the ball and getting these shots from. All right? And this guy, Reggie Miller, has more seasons of 20-plus and hitting at least half his shots, dog. All right? 90s, dog. You see what I'm saying? Reggie was more skilled, dog. All right? Reggie was more skilled. All right? And you might say, oh, no, wait, no, that can't be possible. You know, look at Curry's ball handling. Dog. Hand checking is removed. Freedom of movement has been allowed, dog. You are allowed to just dribble, dog. You couldn't do that back then, dog. The more you dribbled, the worse of a position you were putting your team in, dog. All right? The more you dribbled, the worse it was. Coaches, they preached ball movement. Coaches, they preached hurry up and make a choice, you know? Get to your spots, you know? 1 dribble, 2 dribble. And if you have no options, you give up the ball, you know? Give it to someone, you know? Don't just try to do it all yourself, because defenses were smarter back then. They could react to what was happening, and they could do aggressive traps, you know, and just trap you. The more you dribble, the more you're putting yourself and your team at risk, dog. Oh, man. People don't understand, dog. These Bron fanboys, they don't understand, but oh, man, I might even have to come back and do a part 3, dog. I'm still thinking about that because there's so much more information, dog. This is just simple, dog. Simple stuff. 20-plus on 50% from the field. How many All-Stars could do it? From 2000 to 2025, just 45. And from 1975 to 2071, dog. All right? That's the reality, dog. But these Bron fanboys, they're still over here talking about skill. They're more skilled. That's the only reason LeBron's losing. It's a lie. It's all a lie, dog. You see what I'm saying? But these Bron fanboys, they don't do their research. They are ill-informed, misinformed by mainstream sports media, all right? And they just would rather believe it, all right, than actually do the research themselves, because they will absolutely be proved wrong. And I think they're afraid of that, dog. They just want to hold on to this idea that LeBron James is the GOAT. He not the GOAT, dog. He not the GOAT.